be answering the age-old question of, I'm building my first AR-15, what matters, what doesn't matter, how should I get started? That's what we're gonna be aiming to answer today. Guys, before we get started, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of our latest videos. We have great things just like this that are very instructional. We also have product launches and other news on the channel as well. Now, let's get into it. You're building your first AR-15. What should you do? Now, the answer to this question is gonna be both simple and complicated depending on who you talk to. Our answer is always gonna be start with a simple AR and a good amount of ammo. Get used to the platform and get used to handling malfunctions, get used to operating the gun, get comfortable with the gun, have a good manual of arms, and then as you go forward in your gun ownership journey, then you can upgrade and get nicer components that may really pay off dividends then. I would kind of explain it how, when you're 16, you're getting your first car, you don't start out with a brand new Lamborghini. You learn how to drive, you learn the ropes of driving, and then as you progress through life, you move up in the nice car. So, we're gonna talk about one of our guns today, but you can apply this as a blanket statement to any of the ARs that you see out there from any price point. This is gonna be how to buy your first AR. What we have here is a 16-inch AR-15. That's gonna be our recommendation. They run great with a number of ammo types. They're gonna be super reliable. They're nice and soft shooting. You don't have to worry about any of the SBR laws that are out there and wondering about pistol braces and all that stuff. You have a 16-inch gun, plenty maneuverable. Like I said, it's gonna stabilize well and you're gonna be able to make accurate shots out to distances and have good velocity with your ammo. Now we're gonna start with the barrel and work our way back about the different components that you need to worry about as you're purchasing your AR. You're gonna see a ton of different information that's honestly gonna give you a headache about what the barrel's made out of, what steel, is it cold hammer forged, all that stuff. What we're gonna tell you is it's your first gun, you're not gonna shoot the barrel out. I would recommend a nitrided barrel in either 1-in-7 or 1-in-8 twist. That's gonna stabilize most of the bullets on the market. And you're not gonna shoot out a nitride barrel. They're good for thousands and thousands of rounds. It's your first gun. If you get to 6,000 or 7,000 rounds, then you've gotten a good run at it. You've probably figured out that you're into it enough to make those upgrades and purchase a cold hammer forged barrel. And you're probably honestly ready for a new gun anyways. So that's why we'd recommend starting with a nitrided barrel. Saves on cost, it's gonna last a long time, they're very accurate barrels, and it's not gonna break the bank up front, and you're gonna make sure that you enjoy the hobby and the sport before you spend all that money on the cold hammer forging and other barrels of the world. Moving back to look at the rail, when you're looking at most basic AR-15s, you're gonna see two options. You're gonna see one that has a two-piece plastic rail system. You're also gonna see ones that have free-floated M-LOK systems. We tend to recommend that you start out with a free-floated M-LOK system. There's a ton of great options out here that aren't gonna break the bank, and you get all the benefits of having a free-floated rail. And if you ever decide you wanna get into accessories such as flashlights or foregrips, you can make that decision without having to upgrade your gun in that moment. So it's always good to go with an M-LOK from the start. Moving back, you wanna make sure your bolt is made out of a good material, and you also wanna make sure that those bolts are gonna be pressure tested and magnetic particle inspected. That just means that they're either batch tested, individually tested to make sure they're within spec. As far as controls go, I would say mil-spec is the name of the game. Get used to the controls on a standard AR-15, and then you can worry about upgrading from there. But we really just wanna make sure that you're able to learn how to clear malfunctions, how to take the gun off safe, put it back on safe, manipulate the gun. We wanna make sure you're comfortable with all that. And like I said, this is the perfect learning platform for that. Now, let's talk about optics. When it's your first AR-15, again, we're talking about learning. So the easiest thing to learn on is gonna be just a standard red dot. This is gonna be a little situationally dependent, depending on how much range you have to shoot on. We're standing on a 50-yard bay. These are pretty easy to find, and it's what most people are gonna have access to. And for this type of distance, you don't need anything more than just a single red dot when you're getting started. Sig Sauer makes great options. Vortex makes great options. There's a couple of different companies out there that make great options that aren't gonna break the bank, and you're still gonna have plenty of money left over for ammo and other accessories as well. Now, if you do have access to a longer range, then you might wanna think of picking something up like one of these LPVOs. Vortex has a couple great options that aren't gonna hurt you too bad. And then what you can also do is look into getting a magnifier for your red dot. That'll either give you a 3x magnification or a 5x magnification. Another thing we're gonna recommend with any new AR is gonna be just an adjustable stock. It's really simple, but it's gonna save you a lot of woe as far as getting your gun adjusted and making it feel right for you. Now that we've talked about your first AR-15, let's talk about what accessories you're gonna need to get started and go to the range and have a great time. So the first one's gonna be simple. Your gun's gonna probably come with a magazine, so you'll have one magazine. Our recommendation is to get 2 additional magazines. Now there's a ton of different options on magazines. All I can say is do a little bit of research, and these are fairly inexpensive. Don't make the mistake of trying to cheap out on magazines, or you're just gonna induce yourself a lot of malfunctions. Now, when you're first getting started, I'd recommend picking up 2 to 3 additional magazines. That's gonna help you get comfortable with reloading, and it's gonna keep you from loading your mag every time after you shoot. You'll have a couple different magazines on tap. Like I said, you can get comfortable reloading and all that good stuff. Now, as far as what else you'll need to go to the range for the first time, a good pair of glasses is a must. You can get, safety glasses that are rated for ballistics fairly inexpensively, or, typically sunglasses will do as well. Just make sure when you show up to the range for the first time that you have a good pair of eyes and also a good pair of ears. These are electronic. You don't necessarily have to go electronic. I will say if you're shooting with friends at all, it is very, very nice to have an electronic set of ears. And again, these can be found pretty inexpensively. There's a number of different companies out there. These happen to be Savior, but there's a ton of great options out there for electronic earbuffs. Now let's talk about ammo. So the whole reason we wanted to do this platform and talk about it like this is we wanted to make sure that you had plenty of spare room to get ammo. This is a great training tool, and this is a great introduction into firearms ownership. But the important thing is that you save here so you can spend here. Ammo is going to be the most important part of getting comfortable with your firearm, learning what recoil feels like, learning how to manipulate the weapon, learning how to clear malfunctions. We prefer you buy a lot of this, at least the amount of your gun and ammo to train, get comfortable, and again, just make sure that you enjoy it before you sink a ton of time and energy into it. Guys, if you have any recommendations for new gun owners, please drop them in the comments below. Let them know what was helpful to you. Prefer you guys be positive. This is all about growing the firearms community and teaching them the right way and the wrong way to get started. If you enjoy this type of content, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. We post a lot of great content just like this for new gun owners or seasoned gun owners. And guys, if you haven't already, follow us on socials. We post all of our new product launches there, as well as other news. And before we go, always remember, whether you're a new or seasoned gun owner, always remember to shoot responsibly.